What's happening? Part 3 of our concealed carry series featuring the Pepperball TCP. I originally planned to upload this as a single final episode, but in my experience, between the drill itself and the inevitable talking points that arise, you know how I like to get long-winded sometimes, but I anticipate this being, I'll probably end up splitting today's content into like a part 3A, part 3B. So here we're going to work the tactical draw stroke pre-pierce method. And then in a second installment, 3B, we will address CO2 engagement off the draw. Now, disclaimer, this is not a master class on drawing a pistol. I am not a firearms instructor. I am not proclaiming this as the way to employ your weapon. I'm simply offering up you guys a way to employ your weapon. But here's the good news. This drill is universal for pistols in general. So burners, mace guns, traditional firearms, this is applicable to any concealed pistol platform. So about the drill itself, we're going to be working a 4-step drill. Now, I know a lot of people want to get straight into that sub-second draw, but I truly believe that slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Meaning, as you take your time and you get smooth with the process, you will naturally get faster. You will naturally get more proficient. So I am going to move into an area of my office that's a bit clearer. I've got a blank wall over there, and that's where I will be taking you guys through our tactical drill. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, first things first, at this stage, none of you should have this weapon hot or loaded. We do not need a CO2 in the magazine. We do not need projectiles in this magazine. In fact, we honestly don't need a magazine in the weapon, period, right now. So I am going to leave mine out completely. All we are working on is draw stroke right now. We're not putting shots on anything. We're not doing mag swaps. None of that. So let us begin with you guys repeating after me. Clear, well, pin high. All together now. Clear, well, pin high. This is our step 1. We are going to clear our articles of clothing well with our dominant or our shooting hand, right? And we are going to pin those articles of clothing high with our non-dominant or our support hand. And why am I placing emphasis on those two things? We don't want to clear in a sloppy or half-assed manner, because we risk doing things like hanging up on the pistol grip, and we also risk catching the weapon inside of our clothing as we extract. We want to lift and pin this as high up to our chest or breasts as possible. Now, of course, that can be more or less cumbersome depending on what clothing you have on, but you definitely want to get this as high as possible, because in doing so, you see how much clearance we provided that weapon. That is what we want. Now, there's also, of course, the method of a single hand draw stroke, where instead of pinning with our support hand, we're simply bringing the article of clothing up or away from the pistol, and then we draw out the weapon with only our dominant hand. But for today, we're going to just focus on this assisted method. I'm not going to drill one-handed draws, because some of you may not be that proficient yet. Fair enough. Step 2, we have cleared well and we have pinned high. Strong hand, your shooting hand, drops towards the rear of the pistol grip. This will be your back strap on a traditional firearm. Our lower 3 fingers, these little piggies right here, are going to wrap the front of the pistol grip. Thumbkin is going to wedge opposite side of the pistol grip. For larger hands like mine, and you know what they say about big hands, I have found that working with the TCP, my thumb can also rest against this ASA retention plate. You see that? And thus act as a lever for efficiently getting this out of your holster. But whatever works best for you. Trigger finger, index finger lines up horizontal with the trigger guard. Now, I want to stress something here. when you extract this, you're not immediately getting on the trigger. Now, a lot of people do this, and I think it's just instinctive in most cases, right? Nevertheless, please get out of that habit. I want everyone out there to familiarize yourselves with the term trigger discipline. Trigger discipline. One of our primary gun rules is keep your finger off of the trigger until you have confirmed your target and you are ready to shoot. Now, here's a couple reasons that I try to stay cognizant of. Number one, there's the potential for an unjustified or unintentional shooting, particularly under stress and pressure. For example, I've had to pull weapons more than a few times in an attempt to halt aggressive behavior or induce compliance. But was that a free ticket for me to light a motherfucker up? No. There's also the potential for accidental discharge, including while extracting, particularly, again, under stress and under pressure, which, of course, can result in shooting yourself, potentially killing yourself with a real firearm, or hitting an innocent bystander, or property damage. There's plenty firearm videos here on YouTube of accidental discharges. That's why paintball venues make you use a barrel plug with these 68 caliber launchers. Really, anything with a trigger sending out a projectile deserves that respect. Even BB guns can cause injury and property damage. Hell, I have to exercise trigger discipline with my work tools. Nail guns, bulldogs, impact drivers, they can fuck something up. Anyway, step 3. Once we've established that firm grip on the weapon, here we proceed to draw the weapon out. And we should be extracting this weapon with purpose. Not some weak-ass, half-ass bullshit. I have seen hands slip off pistol grips. I've seen pistols dropped. I've seen pistols go flying because of weak grips and half-ass draw strokes. Con huevos, people. Con huevos. This is also where we're going to drop this article of clothing. So again, making sure to clear the weapon well, pin high, and something else of equal importance. Do not release prematurely. Now, some of you guys watching may already be familiar with that statement, but it's natural to want to release your clothing as soon as we grab the gun, especially under stress, especially under pressure, but no. We want to keep that article of clothing pinned as we transition up with the pistol. Understood? So, again, we've now cleared our holster. We've cleared and dropped our clothing. Now we are moving this weapon up into what's referred to as a high compressed ready position. This is where we're going to meet up this weapon with our support hand. And as you get more proficient with this, all of this will become less exaggerated. This is primarily for illustration purposes. Very important notation here. A major key, as DJ Khaled would say. At this point, this muzzle should be pointed in the direction of the threat. Not at the floor, not at the sky. This muzzle should be orientated towards the threat. And I have to stress this as well. We're not dropping our support hand off of the chest as we draw the weapon. The only thing dropping here should be this article of clothing. Understood? We want to keep this support hand at chest or breast level and bring this weapon up high. We want to meet up the pistol with the support hand at elevation. We're not meeting the weapon down here at a low ready position. We could, and people do, but why not? Or rather, why am I advising that you not? Here's why. Because from down here, we're still going to now have to raise the gun up to meet the threat. Plus, we're going to have to get on our sights and optics as well. Drawing the weapon up first to this high ready position, one, provides this straight line of engagement as you push that weapon out. You're not having to raise the weapon. You're simply pushing the weapon out. I could even send off a round from here if I had to. How, you may ask? Because again, we've already orientated the muzzle on the threat. Watch this. See, we're already doing that as soon as we meet up with this support hand. I'm already on you. You guys are understanding that? I hope so, because it's a beautiful thing. Secondly, this puts your sights and optics right where they need to be. Watch this again. As I'm drawing this weapon into this high ready position right here, literally right here, I'm already on my dot, or I'd be already on my fibers. Thus, as I push this out, I'm already targeting the threat as I'm pressing this weapon forward. You see how all that comes together? I told you it was fucking beautiful. All right, step forward. I kind of got excited with that in ahead of ourselves there. But here is where we're going to rotate and start presenting that pistol forward. Here's also where you should be popping off that safety as well, right? Do not forget to pop your safety. And anyone who says that they never have forgot to, they are full of shit. So once again, as we press this weapon forward, popping the safety, we're moving right into our support, firing support grip. Now, personally, I like to utilize a thumbs forward grip. I'm trying to get as much of my support on this frame as possible, right? Now, the great thing about this TCP is there's no slide retraction to worry about, right? So I can get all over this thing. Same with the burner. However, the TCP does have this huge ledge, right? And this protruding ASA frame to deal with. Therefore, although I can thumb stack, it's not as comfortable for me as it would be with a burner or a traditional firearm. So instead, I like to actually wrap the trigger guard as well, which in my experience, shooting the TCP actually provides me with even more stability, which is also why meeting up this frame with my web hand at this high ready position, right, of the support hand works so good with that. So to recap, as you bring this weapon up into that high ready position, your sights and your optics picture should already be right in front of you. This barrel should already be orientating towards the threat. We should already be popping that safety off here. And also, something very important to reiterate here. This demonstration is taking into account that we're already running this pre-puncture, meaning we're already hot and ready to rock. This initial draw method will not work with a dead or a cold TCP, meaning if the CO2 has not already been engaged. But not to worry, we will get into all of that in the following video. So, running through the drill again. 1, 2, 3, safety off. 4, drop that finger in, squeeze a few times. Okay? Then we're going to bring our weapon back into what's referred to as a Sul position, which means our barrel is going to be deliberately angled south, right? Your safety goes back on, you check your sectors, and you're going to reholster. One, 2, 3, pop off. 4, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Safety on. Check your sectors. Reholster. You're going to run this drill again and again until you are comfortable, right? And until you are smoothly transitioning through this process, right? Remember, slow is smooth, smooth is fast right now. The fast part will develop naturally with patience, with practice, with repetition, okay? This is why I'm not interested in how fast you can draw and shoot today. My only objective is ensuring that you get the mechanics down and that you understand the whys behind why I'm showing you to do it this way. Something else here I want to mention, since I am running a micro on here. Now this is a budget ADE optic, which means I have to manually on and off this. So if I'm running this weapon hot from the jump, this optic is going to be hot from the jump as well. Now, if I ever feel the need to get this weapon hot later on, and we talked about that last time, then I'm going to turn my optic on at that same time. Now, I think I already mentioned in one of the earlier videos how the CO2 on this can be punctured without extracting the TCP. Just do it from here. The same goes for your pistol optic, because the on and off buttons are going to be accessible with most holsters. Also, you'll notice the sight window is going to be right here as well. So I can just look right down and confirm that this dot is active. Now, ADE does offer a couple higher quality constant on models. They have the Stingray, they have the Raptor, plenty other on constant or shake awake options out there. But preparedness also means that this optic needs to be ready to go. Because you may not have time to turn this shit on. You might not even remember to turn this shit on when this shit's hitting the fan. Just something for you guys to think about as well. So once we get, that initial drill squared away, we're going to begin reeling those steps in. And that's when you start getting faster. And that's when you start getting more proficient. You just have to trust the process. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Start putting in those dry reps. Stay vigilant, stay ready, and I'll holler at you in a bit.